Oh, it's exciting. All right, all right. There we go. See all four of us there. And um, there you go. All right, so welcome to In Fullness of the Word, the reading.
Yes.
Yes. All right, we excited up in here. This is the very first anthology of Black poet laureates ever. And so we we feeling pretty good about it. Feeling pretty good. I wanted to share a little bit.
Welcome to.
Hold on, we got an echo. Okay, I think I got rid of it. Okay. So we just want to say, yes, we are history makers and we're gonna keep being history makers. I don't even know if I'm using that terminology correctly, but we're gonna roll with it. I'm gonna be, I guess, the host tonight. My name is Raya Carmen. I go by Raya Sunshine, and we are going to share some poems. Everybody's going to share at least one piece from the anthology, and then whatever else they want to share. But tonight, I have with me the one and only Kim B. Miller. Who is a PWC Poet Laureate Emerita. She just finished her term as poet laureate. I have Terry E. Carter, who is poet laureate of. Tell us, Terry,
It's
because
it's Medford, Massachusetts,
thank you.
about
I mess
7
that up
miles
every
north of
time.
Boston.
I mess it up every time. Medford, Massachusetts. Yes. And then we have David Judah, one who is poet laureate of Pomona,
P Town, Pomona in the house.
Most definitely.
California. I tell you, we went north, south, east, and west, didn't we? Oh, look at us. All right. My name is Raya Carmen. I'm a poet laureate of Knoxville, Tennessee. So, let's get this party started, y'all. First of all, I want to ask a question. Like, um, how does it feel to be a part of this anthology, and what does it mean to you to be able to make history in this way?
Ladies first.
All right. For me, it's. I posted earlier, and someone said, "Wow, this is amazing." I said, "I totally agree with you," because first of all, a lot of people don't know we exist and that we exist in quantity. That's what really throws people off. They may know one or two, but they're like, "Wait, that's collage. There's a lot of you." So getting people to recognize, one, that we're there, two, that we're talented, three, that we're diverse, and four, that we're different. You're going to hear poets, spoken word poets. We don't put each other down based on how we poet. We all accept each other as they are. And I think that's one of the beautiful things I love about this group, is the lack of judgment and the fullness of love.
I hear that.
Yes.
Let's piggybacking on that one. Once again, Judah one Pomona in the house. It just feels more than honor. I feel really special to be a part of this. It is a first anthology of Black poet laureates. I have an anthology of I have an anthology of the Black poets. It's a Mary Baraka and a few others from like 30 years ago. So I don't know anything that's comprehensive since then. So this is really like fantastic to be a part of this history and to be a part of this time, to be counted right now. It's really special.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that is so wonderful about it is, and you know, you both have stated this to a certain extent, is that it's very diverse. I mean, it's all kinds of poetry, from the very, pastoral, rustic, to the very, urban,
guerrilla warfare, whatever it needs to be, by all means necessary right now poetry, and then everything in between, which is, kind of an amazing thing, because I think what would happen is someone would say, oh, Black poets, I know what that's going to be about. They're going to be power to the people, no delay. And it's way, way beyond that. I mean, we take a poet, for instance, like Henry Jones, and then you take a poet like Kaniki, you take a poet like David or Kim or you, Ray. It's just it's off the wall how different it can be. So I think that's one of the things that I really revel in, is that no two of us are alike. And yet we have this thing in common now, that connects and bonds us all. So that's kind of wonderful. And the funny thing about it is we just kind of scratched the surface, because half of us, of our number, which is growing every day, aren't even in the first anthology. So the notion of volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5, I mean, that just, that gives me chills.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited, because it seems like there is constantly someone saying, "Hey, let's welcome a new person
Exactly.
into the fold," and I'm loving it. It's continuing, and oh, look at us. Oh, I see you, poet laureates coming in. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So yes, I'm so appreciative of just being able to be a part of this group of amazing artists that I look up to. I mean, I look up to y'all so much, and being able to uh, have you all trust me to put this together was like, it warmed my heart.
And marvelously, I might add.
Did you received your copies?
No doubt. I listen. Half, a bunch of them already out the door. So
Oh
yes,
wow, you have to
yeah.
hold one up so we can see it.
Yes.
Oh
Look at that.
man, that just gave me chills
It's a
seeing like
beautiful thing.
look in your
Yeah, I'm
hand.
waiting on mine. Mine should be here on Friday.
Yeah,
Yep,
that
it's a
made me
beautiful
feel
thing.
really cool.
Yeah, I did a couple of readings this past week, and I have books with me, and everybody, and there were, truth be told, there were a lot of white folks in the room, and everybody was just like fascinated. You belong to what? And there's 22 Black poets in this book? Come on, you serious? Oh, I gotta buy that. I gotta buy that. Just
Yeah,
can't,
that's nice. That's
can't
nice.
believe it. Can't even
That
believe it.
that just makes
So
me feel
so I,
wonderful.
I love it. I do love it.
But we want to make sure that we welcome Miss Dasha
You
Kelly
guys,
Hamilton, who
Yes.
Hello,
is
good people. Hello, family.
good
poet
to see you.
laureate of. You're still in office, correct?
No, just finished in December for Wisconsin.
For Wisconsin.
Wow.
So she is also an emerita. I
Welcome.
love it.
Has a ring to it.
I like the
Yes,
way
it
it rolls
does.
off the tongue.
I'm about to claim mine in about 2 months.
Yeah.
You and me
Yeah,
both,
about
Terry.
2 months, and
2
they've
months.
already decided that they want to go in a different direction. That's perfectly fine with me.
Different of what?
Well, as opposed to allowing the standing poet laureate to kind of re-enlist or reapply, they basically have said 2 years and you're done, and we'll,
Oh,
in our
that's a
process.
good sign.
Yeah, it is. But having set the precedent,
Oh yes.
as the inaugural, I'm good. I have
Done
sown
the
my
work.
seeds. So I have watered them. My flowers are growing. So I'm good.
Yes.
They are.
Oh man. So Dasha, you came in. We were just kind of sharing like what it means to be a part of this historic project, and just how it feels. So I want to give you a chance to share your thoughts.
uh, choosing my best words. And I want to start with you as the seed. What I think I love most about this, that we'll have these books in our hand and it's capturing this, archiving this presence that we have, but it started as a suggestion in a thread. right? That it started as this casual way for us to collect and get to know each other, and let's do this project, let's partner together. So with that being the seed that you introduced and we all clung to and supported, for determinism, this is made a piece of impressive artistry. So I love where it started. And it started in a place that is also rare air, that is also rare ground, rather, for the growing number of not just laureate programs across the country, but laureate programs that are recognizing how often Black poets also combine their love of community as part of their artwork, as part of their outreach, and that's recognized and included somehow in a rubric on what voices get to represent the cities. So it represents so much, yes, but that you suggested it in a thread that we started, the initiative and the heart and the intention that's manifested in this book. So that's what I celebrate, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. And thank you for trusting us to turn our stuff in.
Y'all know it was hard sometimes. I was like, look here now. But we made it. We made it.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to getting started on volume 2 soon. So the one good thing,
Volumes,
I know,
because we're not
volume.
done.
No, we're
Oh, that's
not.
the key right there.
I think what's awesome about that is that now that there's an actual book in hand, the other laureates see it and they're like, oh, okay, now this is something serious. Like we
Yeah.
are really doing
Yeah.
this. So
Mhm.
On the street, we'd say, "Oh, how can I be down?"
Absolutely. So I do want to give everybody an opportunity to read and to share. So we'll just do kind of a round robin and start with your favorite piece that you submitted for the anthology. And we'll start with you, Miss Kimby Miller.
Thank you. Honored to be here. It's always hard. I tell people this all the time. It's that not that poets don't prepare, is that we change our mind.
Oh yeah, boy, oh boy.
Oh, show.
Let me
Sometimes standing in front of the audience.
Yeah, so let me explain that to y'all,
Definitely.
because this gets confusing. I get that. I get that from your point of view. This is confusing. You have a show coming up. You know you have a show coming up. You know how much time you have to speak. We get that. We ask that up front. So that's a given. We get our set. We got it solidified. We've practiced it. We are good to go. We have re-practiced it. We are good to go. We re-edit the editing of the editing. We are good to go.
Yeah.
We get at the event. Someone say boo. It don't even have to have nothing to do with what we're talking about. They said boo. And now we're like, should I do that poem?
Cut.
It's so true.
Oh my
It's so
goodness.
true.
Hey, you know what though, Kim? In that moment, I actually forget the words. Do you still remember them?
I still remember them because I'm there arguing with myself which one to do now.
It happens to me. It's like I forget it. I forget it after like hours of preparation. In that moment, I forget them.
I will say in front of the audience, the muses are talking to me. Just a minute. I was going to do this. They told me no.
Mm-hmm.
So let them be a part of the process. So sis, you and your muses handle y'all business.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So
the
I
music.
just want
That's
y'all,
what we're gonna
now
put
that
it
y'all
in.
hearing us say this, I don't want you to think that we are professionals. Believe me, we prepare.
Oh, definitely.
It's not a lack of preparation. Plus, we feel the energy in the room. And if we feel something that somebody needs to hear,
Mhm.
we're not going to ignore that energy because we have a set in our head. We're going to go with the energy that needs to be fed.
Yeah.
So just a little FYI, because I
Better
get
talk that ministry language.
right preaching to the choir and to
Right.
some of the members in the congregation. So I'm going to do a poem called Butterfly. They say a butterfly has limits. It doesn't know the beautiful mosaic of colors that intertwine on each wing. It flies instinctively. When their fortress of solitude is broken, they emerge whole. The warm breeze is welcomed. The light that escapes past the clouds is danced in. Even though they don't know what they look like, they fly, they soar, they live. They don't even know they're beautiful. You search for compliments, for words dripping in praise. You want to be seen. You can't see why those who see you don't see you. You don't dance because you're afraid of judgment. The sun shows you your shadow is whole, yet you are dissecting your view to make pain more prevalent. Destroying the parts that make you unique, making misery a part of your saliva. You create ugly. You make darkness feel brighter. I watch you divorce. I watched you divorce, depression, and then renew your vows. I see the hurt inscribed in your abandonment, your prison disguised as a home, you, your own warden. Your freedom isn't conditional. Your plea needs to be accepted, but you can't see you. Your view is tainted. So, pain got you Fujiing yourself softly. Lyrics are not flotation devices, but you got your plane flowing to a rhythmic beat. Your pain got its own hook. You thought you were encased in sin, unlovable, unwanted. Don't blend noise into every blink. Look closer. You are the butterfly. You are the one who can't see your uniqueness. You've been flying, soaring a long time. And though you also have not landed every place you wanted to, you have not given up. Your wings are masterpieces. Spread your vivid wings. Let the breeze, let it breathe. Let the breeze dance with your soul. Fly, butterfly.
Man, oh man, absolutely beautiful. I love listening to you read your poetry. It just makes my heart so happy. Oh goodness. All right, so I'm just going in the order y'all are on my screen. So Terry, that means that you are next.
Uh, okay. All right. Kimmy, you do your thing, man. I really, you do your thing. I love it. I'm going to read a piece called Legacy. It's not for you to tell your own story. That is the burden of your children. They must shoulder this yoke with love and loyalty. And yet, you have not gathered them up and bid them sit before the campfires of their elders. You have not seasoned their meals with the spice of their identity and the savor of their name. How will they learn to walk the walk and talk the talk? How will they learn to tell your stories, even as they live out their own? Sons and daughters and heirs, if you didn't smell the burning ash or feel the warmth of the flame on your neck, you don't know. If you didn't revel in the growl of the griot's earthly reply or the trill of the mockingbird's cry, you don't know. If mama was too tired or daddy was too long gone to carry the wood, light the spark, and stoke the flames, you don't know. And until the lion cub knows how to tell the pride stories, the hunters will always tell them first. The good book says, train up the child in the way they should go. Will we let them depart from the community of faith and the city on the hill without the master's touch, without the oil of his anointing and his full measure of grace? Will we not show them Anansi's clever ways, Popo and Fafina's journey, Mufaro's beautiful daughters, the people who could fly, the wonders of Wakanda, and Songololo's new tackies? The prophet says he will encourage fathers and their children to return. But how will they know the way home if no map charts the seas, measures the roads, cites the peaks and valleys, and names each forest despite the thickening trees? Will the burden of the elder stories be too heavy for the children? Will they care to carry? Will they dare to tarry? Will they linger at the foot of the griot? Will they hunger for the wisdom of the sage? We must put them on this page, where hard work earns the man his wage, where power is measured by God's own gauge, where miracles scoff at the wand of a mage. We must share with them this truth that is loyal and fierce like Naomi and Ruth, that doesn't wait for the confessional booth, that has the bite of the panther's tooth. This is a gift of legacy, where a glorious past sets the captives free, and the candle's light beckons liberty. Sons and daughters and heirs, I bid you, sit before the campfires of your elders, hear their stories, gather up their stones, and build up your strength. They will show you Anansi's clever ways, Popo and Fafina's journey, Mufaro's beautiful daughters, the people who could fly, the wonders of Wakanda, and Songololo's new tacky. Soon, you will be the herald. Write these things down on the tablets of your spirit. Let them put a running in your feet. With each quickening step, you repel the arrows of the hunter with the shield of abiding faith. You capture the flags of your enemies and gather up their spoils. You remain the lions of your pride, and your tails will always be your children's bread. You will never abandon the community of faith, though you build 1,000 cities on a hill, drawing wondrous strength from the master's touch as the oil of his anointing fills your clay jars with his grace.
Wow.
All right, poet.
Let's go.
That was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like that just made me remember all the books I had read to my children when they were younger.
You
Like,
got it.
yeah, I love it. I love it. That's why I was like, oh, I was like, oh man, yeah, I read that to my boys. I love it.
Mhm.
Oh, yes. All right. All right. Next on my screen is the one and only David Judah one.
Ta-da, damn. Yo, this poem I wrote is from the book. It's called Sankofa Futura. Sankofa, meaning look back unto the ancestors. Don't forget where you came from. If you can, go get them. But also Futura, we're going forward. We're gonna look back. We're gonna go forward, all aboard. We still moving. So this is that joint. We still black and achieving. We still black and moving. We still black and empowered from within. We still black and believing. We still black and knowing that history is to be studied. It's not over. That black history is still in the making. That there have been many remakings and remarkings and remarks and red marks on maps to keep us out of homes, positions and positioning. We still black and positioning. We still black and remembering, Sankofa and forward thinking. We still black history in the making of and in ourselves, many firsts again. Innovations and inaugurations spawn from self and creations and imaginations made manifest. We still black in evidence of solar power and magic is movement. We still black and moving through. We still black and waiting through these waters, through these times of trouble. We still find peace somehow through these struggles. Or seek the understanding of, constantly coming back to the truth that our story is not over, that black history is still in our making, that our history is making ourselves into who we want to be or need to be out of necessity or faith, often both. Some parents called hope for the children who are still our future now, and black like we still and forever will be, one with darkness, deep space and thick waters, black holes, dark stars, and the origin of every light and spectrum of hue. Some black like purple, some black is blue, some dark and red, some tan and sand. It's time and again for the wise woman and the strong man to plan and come together and multiply and not again be divided by internal fears or external struggles. Once we climb by step, now we climb by tears. Historically, ours is the technology of ancient engineers, an alchemy without a peer, chemically complex, DNA providing antidote to antivenom, an antivirus or the serum. With minds on mathematics, we calculate the ETA on GPS and Haney's truths on the internet. We had a World Wide Web once, and Akasha records connected us to each other and ancestors by the air, by the water, and all frequencies that move. We still black and catch of these currents. We still black and setting trends in this current. We move through this world as waves, becoming particles of light. When not observed, we black again.
What? What?
What? This is crazy. I can't with y'all. I
Oh,
cannot
that
with
was off the
y'all.
hook, D.
Yes, that was
Just glad I belong. Thank you.
Oh man, I
wow.
He
cannot with
said black,
y'all.
boy.
That's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Yes. All right, Miss Dasha Kelly.
Felt that one.
Mm.
Can I go when you go to service? Are they talking about me? Are they talking about me? Talking about me. I'll just get into it. It's a shorter one. A little ditty about Jack and Diane, two American kids growing up in the heartland. Here's a little ditty about being Black, specifically being Black in white spaces. And you can't get much whiter than Mellencamp. And I knew all the lyrics of the hit song by heart. Jackie's gonna be a football star. Diane's debutante backseat of Jackie's car. I rode into puberty on the first yellow school buses to transport Black promise across white district white lines. I tested into all advanced classrooms without my busmates, without anyone who looked like me, without any charm defenses against indifference or at best lowered expectations. Back at the bus stop, I'd be asked, if there's a race war, which side you gonna be on? Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. I forfeited my afternoon bus seat gleefully for the unexamined world of after-school offerings. I even considered the wrestling team's mat maids, but volleyball tunneled my safe passage between the school days. Well, then there, Diane, we gotta run off to the city. Diane said, baby, you ain't missing nothing. Two teammates blast Jack and Diane after a game. I spin my head at the tune and move to stand in their presence, prove myself familiar, if not worthy. I sang along with the radio, eyebrows raised and coaxing. They waited awkwardly for the final lyric, for me to walk away, to restore polite distances until our mothers came. Drum solo. I was voted most outstanding 7th grade student that year, handed the tallest trophy and the last award of the assembly. No one cheered wildly or called out my name, Black or white. Maybe they spent their best hand claps, or maybe they suspected long before I could the tittering in the teacher's lounge about my clever questions, my eager disposition, my superb diction. Mislabeling their astonishment at my accomplishments, sweeping ancient mountains under a middle school molehill. Maybe I was more available than outstanding. Change is gonna come real soon, make us women and men. My parents were in the auditorium, sitting in reserved seats to my left. Seeing their faces made from the stage made me feel better. Outstanding, even. Faces like mine, enthusiastic and isolated, excellent and ignored, proud, Black, and a little uncomfortable. American kids doing the best they can. Peace.
Yes, ma'am. Ah, that was a clever way of telling your story. I love that.
Oh yeah, life
Yeah,
goes on.
Sure.
yeah. We
Good.
all know the song. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
Mhm.
no doubt. No
I
doubt.
think that's how you make the piece so inarguable. I
Mm-hmm.
had a professor tell me when I was in college that he never liked slam poets because their poems were so arguable, that they just were spouting off things, for a
Mm.
reaction, and that if you were going to be a good poet, you had to be able to write the inarguable poem. So that, and he used the example, then he said, if you're a black woman, you should be able to stand in a room full of Klansmen, deliver your poem, and have them walk out and be like, I understand. And I was like, okay, okay. So
Mm.
that became like my challenge, is to write these, the pieces that would be inarguable because they were tied to something that everybody could grab a hold of
Wow.
a little bit. And I think
Yeah.
you did that so wonderfully in
Yeah.
that piece, Sasha. It's
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh
Can I
man.
just say one thing before you, because I'm hoping that you're gonna read next, Ray. Um, Dasha, your tiny desk joints, is
Yes.
those are so cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
I've
you.
been
Thank
ju- I've been enjoying that. I've been meaning to hit you back about it, but I'm glad you're here tonight so I could just tell you to your face.
you. I appreciate that. I love them. They help me.
It's very cool. It's very
Thank you. They help
cool.
me keep my pen sharp. And
Hmm.
when we get busy, I know I always have that. So I really appreciate it. It gives me a chance to like have these little personal conversations,
Yeah.
different from posting on your Instagram. So it's just going to you and it's little personal stories for me. So thank you. From writer to writer, I appreciate that.
We are seeing you, no doubt.
Thank you.
Ah, awesome. Okay, I guess I am about to read. So, you know what, Kim, you are right. I was like, I know which poem I'm gonna do, but then I was like, no, I'm gonna change it up just a little bit. So this is it's called Medicine. A merry heart is good like a medicine. So, as much as I love to laugh, I should be able to fight off the autoimmune disease, headaches, muscle cramps, and joint pain, heartache, and feeling inadequate. I can do none of those things. But I have learned to enjoy my laugh. I have learned that it makes my tolerance for the pain more bearable. So, when given the opportunity, I laugh out loud, allow my voice to fill the room, maybe create an infectious ripple that makes others join the chorus because I feel it so deep in my soul. It is my way to release the stress and heal my mind. This laugh takes control and becomes everything to my world in the moment. I'm not exactly sure when I realize that my laugh is boisterous, or when I question how it makes others feel that I am so free to laugh so loud and never hold back, bubbling sounds from my soul to teach the freedom of self acceptance, the acknowledgement of my difference and reality of its beauty. Sometimes I just laugh to keep from crying. Other times, I laugh until I cry because the tears need to be released. And what better way for them to burst forth than from a smile that became active like a volcano and erupted from my gut to give way for cleansing grace? No matter what, my laugh will never be as astonishing as the sound of laughter catapulting from the lungs of my sons. When they laugh, the entire world is made perfect. New creation each time they find the freedom to let joy overflow. I have taught them something by laughing out loud. A speechless lesson I hope they never forget as life becomes full of reasons to snatch your smile and your confidence. I hope they remember their mother laughing. I hope they find comfort in laying their head back, hand on their stomach, hearing a bellow from their soul and healing themselves with the medicine that I teach them to make each time I laugh.
Yes. Love that.
So yeah, in my house we gotta laugh every day. It's a rule.
It's medicine. You're right.
Oh yeah. So okay. Wonderful. I want to give you all another opportunity to share. If you want to share a poem from the anthology, that is fine. Or you can just share what's on your heart. Because you can do that. You are a poet laureate. You can do whatever you want to do. I do want to ask one more question before we get into some more poetry. But and that question is simply, what has it been like representing your city? And did you find that you started to feel the weight of the community while representing the city? Anybody jump in there.
Well, I started at kind of the first year of COVID. Starting to let off, and then it came right back on, and then much heavier. So I didn't really get out into the community too much. So a lot of people didn't know I was the laureate. And then they learned afterward. Even with the things I'm doing now, like I have the first ever festival at the LA County Fair. People don't really even know about it. Like people are still kind of really getting into local news and what's going on locally. Like people were really just watching what was going on in the whole world. So that was one thing for sure on my end. But it's been a blessing for sure. Did I feel the weight? I did start feeling it. For sure after the first year. Like the first year was really just kind of like surrealness and excitement. And just like, oh, I'm gonna work. And then like after say like the 13th month, like people in the community were asking for certain kinds of poems, or why did I say this that way? Like there was a lot of like kind of blowback on certain things too. And I was like, yo, I'm in a different environment right now. Like this is kind of weighty, and also I'm not going to I'm inaugural, so I'm not going to shrivel up either. Like I'm the type of person that doubles down on things. So we had some good things, some good tension, but that was also needed. You don't want your poet laureate to fall down. You want them, if you're going to be a voice, you want to stand up. You want to be an advocate. You want that person to have some balls. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. So yeah, I did feel the weight, and they felt my
Or
weight.
ovaries.
Or ovaries, yes, absolutely, yes, absolutely. But yeah, there are some, I blow back as well. So it was good. Overall, I felt once again honored. I felt special. I was the first, so a lot of people didn't even know what a laureate is in my region. So I had to educate bank tellers, doctors, everybody, what a laureate is after I started that I am that. So that's been a task for sure. I think COVID kind of slowed up what I could do, but at really I don't think I could have did any more than I did. I did a lot during my tenure for sure.
Are you done?
My tenure was finished in January, so I guess I'm a merited too, huh?
Yes. Have they identified the next person, or is that process?
Yes, the next person is identified. They are already at it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Rest.
Yes.
As much as we know about that word, but
Yes.
rest.
You know what?
We don't know what rest
I
is.
really appreciate that conversation as well, Dasha, that we had in North Carolina when we did, because you were rest, take care of yourself. A lot of us, we're poets, but we're not, as laureates, we're not really so much focused on poems at the moment. We're focused on programming and a lot of other things. And that was really key when you spoke on rest when we were at that cafe out there. And I thank you again for that. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Just passing on good advice is given to me.
I need to rest. I'm going to rest after June. I tell you.
After June.
Rest
I
until
got
next
I
year.
gotta get through Southern Fried, and once I get through Southern Fried, that's the last thing I'm doing as poet laureate of the city, and then I shall rest. Yes,
Are you really going to rest? You're not going to like step on the gas after this?
I I am in a different way. So
And when
yeah,
it's your gas, it's different gas.
True indeed.
it's it's a different way, but I'm going to I am going to rest. I'm going to do a better job of taking care of my health.
Mhm.
So,
Very well.
anybody else want to talk about that question there?
I kind of do. I think as much of a gift as it has been for the city of my birth, and I don't actually live there anymore. And they were, in a way, gracious enough to kind of waive any kind of a residency requirement and still allow me to be the poet laureate, and the first one at that. It's been actually as much a gift for my city and me as it has been for several cities in the surrounding greater Boston area, because I've been asked to consult on how to bring in a poet laureate by cities that didn't have one. I've also been invited to speak at engagements, well outside of my native geography, so to speak, all because they saw fit to say, "Oh, this brother can be our poet laureate." So that has been an additional blessing. And the beauty of that is that that's not going to go away. Having established all of these new relationships, that stuff is not going to go away. So, I'm going to allow it to be the wind beneath my wings as much as I possibly can. And then the other thing has been, I think their usage, quote unquote, of me has been very strategic in their minds. And there have been instances in which I would have wanted to go where they have not asked purposely because of the way that I might bring it if I came. So sometimes the coffee can be too black and too strong. And so if they wanted something that was, a little bit more like cappuccino, then they probably go and get somebody else, because if I'm going to come.
I'm sorry, I'm giggling looking at Judah, looking at how much he'd have been there, how much I'm seeing bum rush all over Judah's face. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I know I know you all know that, there are times when it would have been appropriate for you to have been someplace, but the invitation was not extended because the way that you might have come would have been a little bit too much for them to, kind of handle in the environment that they thought that they had. So,
did you feel stifled, or did you ask to take those engagements anyway? Because I asked.
I didn't. If my feeling about it is, there's so much stuff on the table. If you say I can't have you over here, then I'm gonna go over here where they're saying I need you over here. So, and I view it as, well, that's, you're lost because you have no idea about how I'm going to come. And I feel like I'm diverse enough in my poeticness, quote unquote, to be able to do what I need to do for any environment. And like we all do, you get in the room, you gauge the room, and you can say to yourself, okay, the script that I thought I was going to come up off of, I got to squash that because this is not that audience. And I don't want anybody to go away feeling like, I was attacking them, or I was, getting too much in their kitchen. I want everybody to walk away feeling like, wow, that was artful and beautiful and meaningful. And yeah, maybe it was a little bit abrasive, but it didn't tear me down so much that I couldn't stand it. So, we know what to do, we're professionals at this thing. So when we get in a room, we know what to do.
I say.
So thank you.
I think dovetailing off of that was been, and not that I had to learn how to navigate how, but that experience, how that's shown through, and being in a room, and this is the set that I put together. These are the poems that y'all are going to get. You're welcome. Hello, oppression and racism and sexism and love and family and children and Kit Kats, right? So you're able to have this experience that is still authentic and real, the way that, like you said, we know what to do, we know how to bring it, and no matter who's in the room and why they're there. So really, and because my project was also about elevating the voices of incarcerated writers, able to drop in, here's a project I'm doing, and here's why. And and instead of reading my work, included reading these collective pieces. And that gives me gives me the entry point to say, and let's talk about the fact that we've got these humans locked up in these bills. Why they went there, that's a different show. But do they need to be there that long? Let's think about that. Next poem, also able to do some pieces and say, and you know what, I have to say now, I use this platform to say things that we all don't always hear. Women, here's what I've learned being able to be a guy advocate. And we don't have these conversations authentically. The guys are set up to have to pay double everything. And all we talk about is how he's so wrong. And girl, you go ahead and forget that he should not have to go through these hoops to see his child.
Preach. Oh,
So can we get this together, ladies? Next poem.
Go. You better speak.
Next point. Yeah.
So found that it's, found these ways that banter in between to really be intentional and fun.
Yep.
And so it may catch them by surprise, but it's not shtick. It's not me getting on a soapbox per se. And it's always been received well, because like you said, Terry, we're professionals. This is not, we're not new to having platforms, right, but really making the use of that real estate, if you think about the time that we have in front of people. And on the other thing that came to mind with your question was the sweetness of seeing my little Crayola portrait by an elementary school student who picked me as their project, and I'm on a teacher's door, or they, I have a fifth grader I owe a letter to right now, but just like, oh, that's right, I am the first Black woman who's a poet laureate for a state. We are elementary school project because we're history. And those tiny things that are enormous, running into librarians, and all the librarians know who we are, and to be poet fan personed by people who really love our words. So those things that because other poets and other writers, we know how lonely this can feel sometimes, how we toil over these words and then they get lost in the air like dandelion seeds, but they're landing. And that's what's really felt good across the experience of seeing that, those little pops happen.
That's a word.
Absolutely. And for me, it was unique, but not unique. No, that doesn't make sense. But I'm the first Black poet laureate for my region. Only one so far. We have a current poet laureate. She's not Black. So for me, it was the fact that the only one who said Black was me. So I was like, okay, no one's talking about the elephant in the room, but I love elephants, so Black.
Love it. I love it.
That fact.
I love it.
Love it. You say it louder too.
Exactly. So I'm gonna say it because clearly I am. So we gonna talk about this, and the fact that some people imply, and yeah, this is for the audience members because this ain't for my love people in the room, imply that the only way we could have gotten this job is through favoritism, nepotism, bootyism, or whatever elfism you got up your sleeve. Here's to you. So we are capable human beings. Now, if you are that nosy, because I know people who are, and you ask every single living person in the position, how you get the job, how you come across, I know people like that. So they ain't nothing to do with race. They just, and everybody's behind. I get it. But if you are not one of those people, so we are capable human beings. Got an echo.
Somebody got us on that.
Yeah,
I got you.
Okay. So if you're one of those people who don't ask everybody how they got the job, don't ask us. Now, again, if you're one of those people who ask everybody, I'll talk to you till the cows come home. I'll throw out my CV on the table and you can peruse it till your health runs dry. But if you're only asking me because I'm Black, you can skip off this trail because I don't play double dutch with people who can't swing a rope. Not happening.
I love it. I love it. I'm gonna have to add that saying to my repertoire. Like, oh, double dutch for folks who can't swing a rope. I love it.
So Rhea, you've been the one that's been herding the cats, so to speak. So how has it been for you trying to get all of these folks with all of this different headspace into the same headspace so that we could do this thing, so that we could put this thing together?
Oh man. It I'm not gonna say it was maddening at times. Thank God for my husband being my sounding board and just kind of listening to me complain. I run my collective, so I deal with groups of poets all the time. So I
Mhm.
kind of know what that's like. So it wasn't as upsetting as it probably would have been for somebody else, but it was times where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. They are not listening. They are not turning in things. And so I think I finally just got to a point where I was like, okay, I have all the poems. If they don't read through them and they're upset, oh well. Like you've
Right.
got to help me with this editing process. I don't know if that comma was supposed to be there.
Mhm.
And if you don't come through and read through what I have here, and you don't get upset. And that's just kind of I had to become okay with that because I'm a
Right.
perfectionist and I don't want people to be upset and be like, oh, that word wasn't supposed to be there. But if you weren't responding after so long, I had to just say, okay, nope, we're moving on.
Right.
It
And
is.
I had to be okay with that part. But for the most part, most people did respond. It got to the point at one point, I think I texted every single person in the book and was
Mhm.
like, are your pages correct? Do you need to make any edits?
Hmm.
And I just had to send an individual text to everybody so that I felt okay moving forward. And we were good. But it was fun. And actually seeing you hold up the book, that was everything for me.
Well, you have our admiration and our appreciation both. And for those of you who just came to the party,
There it is.
and
Looks beautiful.
Mr. Jones, the illustration is exactly as was required.
Good, good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so
Absolutely.
perfect. It's
yeah.
Perfect.
it's exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah, some of my art collectors, they were like, I want that piece. I'm like, wait a minute. But they fell in love with the image and they said they're buying the book. I love to have people in one part of the arts get excited in another part. So the art people fall in love with poetry. So, and I said,
Mm,
buy the book. That piece is not for sale, but buy the book, and you can read some wonderful poetry with all these poets. So that moves me. Yeah.
yeah, I'm so grateful for you um coming up with the cover art, and Terry came up with the layout for the biography pages, and just the team came together. So
Yes.
I can say thank you. I didn't have to do everything, so I
Good.
appreciate it. All right, so Henry, you got in here a little late, so I'm gonna let you share first. Your favorite poem from the anthology.
Okay. Let me start with the one for the city, because I've actually read that 2 times. And I realized when that was a requirement that I hadn't written a poem for the city because of the different events. So I love that challenge and kind of combining history and all. So here it is. It's titled In This Season, a tribute to Hendersonville, Tennessee. And we all know about the land owned by Native Americans taking over, the era of slavery, all that mess. So this kind of encompasses so much. There's a building in Hendersonville titled a house in Hendersonville, Rock Castle. They call it the historic Rock Castle. And it's a historical site. People go and visit. They have the artifacts and so forth. They talk about the history and everything. And Daniel Smith, that was his home. It's been passed on until now. It's the current historical site for visitors. So that was the core of where I focused on with this poem. In this season, I wanted to visit the historic Rock Castle, Hendersonville's oldest house in the city, and a forest I found and walked on a trail. As gliding autumn leaves fell around me, their dry and frail remains were covered with memories of summer's colors, which led me in this season to beauty, where its builder, the busy Daniel Smith, who perhaps stepped on a similar path while thinking about founding a place, a city by the lake one day as a home, unveiled his vision like a sleepy dream. My journey on this thick autumn bed, only seen with a hunter's good eye, the slightly camouflaged sunken footprints showed layered leaves comforting the earth. I walked on them while carefully listening to the sounds of crushed, brittle notes cracking while approaching the Rock Castle estate. I felt the presence of old souls near the house, a masonry wonder of huge stone bricks made by hands dreaming and longing for freedom, of enslaved people who constantly worked, who had cataract faint eyes of Africa. Missed smiles and faces slowly faded. Blue words of spirituals drifted into the wind as their jealous fingers grasped along edges, competing like searching for gold, the right stone to chisel along a righteous score with one blow. To properly build a house where Daniel's wife, Sarah Mitchie, could feel safe and loved again, with rooms for her furniture, lace, and family. A home to entertain awaiting curious visitors, a home to serve as a classy Maven sweet tea, a home to draw faith when alone and lonely, and a home to help build another day. I entered the front door like a sneaky child. Inside, I found spirits who appeared as fog clouds, performing scenes in a play as though still alive. They talked with voices of echoed silence, and I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I looked closely, trying to read their lips, wondering if they were whispering secrets to each other about me as their dead visitor. Night fell, showing them clearly and more real. As I watched Daniel get up, walking around, he went toward a door to go outside. I followed him to a shining full moon. He stood staring along the Cumberland River as waves pushed against its shore by lunar breezes, which caused his eyes to squint with visions of longing to find a place to rest and clear his mind, like when he's tired and lays on his wife's warm lap, forgetting his jobs of politics and surveying. She stroked his hairs and just enjoyed their time. His eyes cried about the native bloodstains smeared on land which needed redemption. As his body faded, blending with the starry night, he vanished like a child playing hide and seek, gone along the river filled full of shed tears, wet memories made from the damned notions of orphaned land submerged with hidden shacks, families embedded in thick mud denied existence, steal away those torn, missing pages of history. In this season is why ghosts keep returning. Stories told about this city with dry, hushed lips, but still summoned by the land, a sacred calling. Old black headstones, clean with loving hands, caressing vinca vines as I walked to remember, which became roads now clearly paved with hope. A dream founded in 1784 for the city by the lake, what we call Hendersonville, Tennessee, was born.
That's beautiful. I had to go to the book and start reading along with you. I was like, this is getting too good. I want to. I was like, I got to read along with him while he's doing this. Oh, I love it.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you.
All right, we have another poet laureate that snuck in here. I don't know if he
Whoop, whoop,
plans.
whoop, whoop.
I don't
So
know if he
in the
plans on
house.
sharing. Y'all know every time Shaka shares, I end up writing a new poem. So, Shaka, are you going to share with us tonight?
I'm here listening. I'm driving on the 101, and y'all
Oh,
are like keeping me company. Yeah, y'all keeping
ah,
me company. So I tuned in.
all right.
But I can't read nothing now.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you.
Well, no, thank you for being here with us. Yeah, I tell you, like I said, every time Shaka has done like a first Sunday, I end up writing a new poem because he inspires me. he pushes, he pushes, he
I
pushes me to
appreciate
write a new poem every time.
I
So
appreciate you. Y'all all inspire me. So it's all full circle.
I love it. Well, it is 9 o'clock, and I think I set this to go to 9:30. So, you all, I'm going to open the floor to share more poetry if you would like. So there you are. I don't know who else has another poem that they want to share.
I'd like to do one called Delete,
Yes.
and I would love y'all input after. So, you found my pain. It's amazing what you can find when you look. I've been screaming, crying, trying to get you to see Black poets are being systematically excluded. But you glossed over the tremble in my voice, told me I wasn't hurt, I was exaggerating. You can do the same things I do, that's what you said. I can do the same things and have a different outcome. I can submit poetry for consideration and watch my hopes dissolve. Once the judge realizes I'm Black, my vernacular noted since my poetry is not dripping in familiar softness. My Blackness is too unashamed, too bold, you will say. Assimilate to a more acceptable tone. Don't come off as the angry Black poet. My pain is too loud to be written softly. There is no affirmative action program for poets. We don't want one. We just want equal chance to grace stages, journals, books. How can we be equal when our poetry is only valued in Black History Month? February is Find a Black Poet Month. How dare I break this stanza based on poetic truth? I thought there was wool pulled over your eyes, or maybe I chose the wrong fabric. Let me pause. This is when racism is denied, when your oppressiveness dips itself in dismissiveness. The poetic version of Miranda Rights is getting ready to be recited. I just have a preference, you'll say. I say my preference is to baptize people with words, suffocate their preconceived notions, release my ink so you can see how my syllables be battle rapping each other. Go ahead. Tell me how Black pens bastardized, erased real haiku. Even though we were not the originators of unnatured haiku, blame us, blame me. The next step in this journey is a familiar fragrance, a scent of deletion. Go ahead, hit delete. It won't be the first time our pen was lynched. You can tell yourself you tried to appreciate words fried in chicken grease, but you lack the seasoning to recognize the flavor. Go ahead, hit delete. Go ahead, hit delete. The last stanza of this poem is already gone.
Okay, poet. Okay. Okay, poet. So you want to hear how we feel. so
Is that a fresh piece?
It's fairly new.
Makes my toes tingle.
make my toes tingle. What
Yeah,
made
I
you
like that. Yeah. I like that.
what made you want to write that piece?
I have as I'm sure some of you have, diverse catalogs. Even if I haven't written it, if you tell me the subject matter, I can write it.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that because I'm all that. It's just I have the ability to write. And yes, sometimes I'm like, well, you got such and such program coming up. No, 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 no. Such and such program coming up. No, 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 no. But Black History Month, hey, can you do this? 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 We
Mhm.
are good for all programs.
Exactly.
I'm not saying don't hire us for Black History Month because that would make no sense, or for Juneteenth. But what I am saying is because it's a Valentine's Day program, we can't talk about love. Because it's a Mother's Day program, we ain't got mothers. Because it's a Father's Day program, we ain't got fathers. First of all, stop the hype of that, there's no Black fathers. A lot of us grew up with fathers in the household. We're not listening to the script that you're trying to serve. I'm not saying every household had it, but let's stop with that. Oh, there was none. There was plenty.
And the statistics say that actually there's more Black men in the home with their children than all other races. But
Yep.
we're not going to go there.
Right.
I don't want to lose this thread. The other important piece is perhaps not in the home, but the conversation is where was it decided that that is the only way a family can be healthy?
Mhm.
But Black and brown fathers statistically are more involved with their
In their
children
children's
across
lives.
all
Oh,
ages,
absolutely.
across
That's
all
right.
races.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
yeah. There you
Right.
go. Yeah.
Right.
There
But
you go.
that conversation is not being brought up because that would make it a conversation.
Mhm. And it would change the image that's projected out there about our families too.
Absolutely.
The negative image, yeah.
So I wrote that because I appreciate the gifts. I appreciate the hirings during those critical Black history times and for Juneteenth. But what I'm saying is, if that's the only time you think of a Black poet, then you are stereotyping us into a category that we don't belong in. It's like you only don't hire, do you look for someone, Irish during St. Patrick's Day? No, you say, well, if it's a poet, come do this poem.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So don't put us in a box because we don't live in coffins. Our pens exist in several different realms, in several different places, and several different subjects. So if you only reach out to me or a Black poet when it's Black History Month, ask yourself why you limiting your event.
Yeah. Man, we should be as busy as we are during Black History Month every month.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kimmy, with your permission, can I wade in those waters a little bit? I got a piece. It's called
Yeah,
Kill the
wait.
Poets First.
Ooh.
Let's go, poets.
Kill the poets first, for they will tell the truth and shame the devil in all of us. They will highlight the lack of honor among thieves with assonance, alliteration, and clever metaphor. Put them in shackles and parade them through the public square. Strip them naked if you dare. They will expose the libertarian as the libertine amid the piles of gluttony, hubris, pride, and prejudice that lie at his gout-ridden feet. They will rightly divide the gospel in ways that the jackleg and the profligate and the snake oil purveyor conflate, confuse, and contradict at every pulpit and podium. They will measure with meter the length of the bigot's bloodline, the strength of the captor's confine, the mark of the beastly revenant, the lies which prove most fraudulent, the truth that they seek to circumvent. Kill the poets first, for their lyrics, like fine opera, will peel away the lie and pare down the malice and point out the mayhem in rhyming couplets and piquant haiku and epic odes and hip hop for the homeboys. With their Black Lives Matter and their Save the Planet and their No Justice, No Peace, they will roll the bedrocks of the right wing and the rabid racist and the reluctant witness back down the mountain we've scaled like a Sisyphus stone over and over and over again. Kill the poets first, by the bullet and the ballot, by the garrote and the block and the guillotine and the gas chamber, by 1,000 disappearing acts in 100 hidden dungeons, by the noose from the bough of an ancient oak. That is the ultimate attention getter, a foolproof message sender, greater in gore than any artist can render. Crucifixion for the commoner and the crusader. Owe no allegiance to the song, bow not to the charming verses, smile not at the fragrant lyric, hide not the pretty sonnet in the bowels of your heart of darkness. Kill them first. They will trick you. You will feel the pangs of your lost humanity welling up in your bosom. They will convict you, make you want to buy back your soul from long departed demons who made you crave sin. They will be the straw that breaks your loyal camel's back and causes your beast of burden to spurn the desert of your depravity. Don't let them hold the mirror to your faces. Don't let their light shine on shameful places. Don't let them put our hounds through their paces. Don't let them judge. Don't let their judges handle our cases. Kill the poets. Kill the poets. Kill the poets first.
Golly, Terry.
Come
Wow.
on. Come on,
Mm.
preacher.
Golly.
Wow.
Yeah, oh yeah. And that's what happens in revolutions. They kill the intellectual, they kill the poets, the people that can reach the people.
Hallelujah.
So it's very real what you just shared, brother. And that happens.
I'll be teaching go first.
Yeah. Whew.
It's on me.
Yes, sir.
It's on me. Word up. I wrote this poem for Incoming, which is now in the ground. There's a Harriet Tubman statue brought to Pomona, installed at Lincoln Park, Abraham Lincoln Park. So they asked me to write a poem about it. I wrote a poem about it. This is I went a little hard this time. One of the poets, a couple poets ago, talked about going hard and choosing your audience and this and that. Well, I say what needs to be said in a moment. They like it, they don't like it, then it's already said, it's done. Here we go. For freedom she ran so our children can freely run, standing equally under the sun. From town to town by water and by darkness, 2 by 2. Through back roads and swamps passing by, gators and reptiles faster than bullets or dogs. Bullets and dogs chase the courageous led by she. A hero at odds never even. She was on a mission to free her own. Others called it abolition. It was not abolished though. So by rail and by road and by track laid by memory, I've heard maps were braided on the back of heads, hiding in crowns, disguised. Another honor denied. We king ourselves from this place, and crowns are still before us. We run for mines, for ours, and family denied before our eyes. And the angst in our heart led the insoles of Harriet several times back and forth as the Hebrews asked of the prophets on the mountain, silent in caves and solemn, who will ascend and descend for us? Black Moses, most supposed our deliverance be brought by a male or a man. For a while, Massa searched for some sons, and that was part of the plan. Half of the amazement as she went and outfitted, how she went and outwitted, how she moved outfitted with ammo to fight back in ways slaves only dreamed of. Some dreamed to fight, others dreamt of flight. She a dream come true, she a living one come through the ether and birth to black beings, to free black beings, and in doing so inspire more and further movement, charging some spoken allies with fire, inspiring the moves for movements to come. She made 13 missions through the field and led 700 souls out and into self-determination, insert inalienable, the God-given rights. God gave the right paths to her lamps, but it was Harriet that kept that oil burning and that wick trim. It was Harriet whose feet blistered, whose hands were made rough. It was Harriet who waited in waters and darkness and scorching heat and camouflage and insubordination to Massa and his nation, Massa and his plantation for a new kind of harvest and open fields and opportunities and respect and humanity, the right to read, the freedom to be married and own things such as our own names, and claim our own destinies. Harriet, we bless thee for the blood, for the blood that courses, for our blood that courses free because you willed it. We believe in ourselves and achieve more than even our ancestors dreamed. Harriet, we bless thee with our blood that holds knowledge too heavy to hold. Harriet, we bless thee for blessing us with an image of self-determination that looked like us, for a win we could look to and strive for and set our goals on as we look to the same stars that guided you, guide us.
Yes, sir. That you read that on your episode of Beyond the Spark, right?
I think so. I might have. I've only read it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I love that piece.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It's marvelous, marvelous.
Thank you very much. The Lord gave me that download an hour before it was due. So yeah, all
That
15,
was good.
all 15 poems of my laureate sheet, all of them were done either the hour before or the hour that they were due. The hour.
Yeah. Who likes to work under pressure?
I sometimes, sometimes.
I don't like it.
Okay.
What was going on is I would write something and it would be there, and I wrote it 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month in advance, and then the night before
Yeah.
I get something different and better and banging,
Right.
and it gotta go. It got to go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I do my mayor, she always wants to print what I'm going to do. So it's
Mm.
always the last minute before she needs to print it. So
Uh,
but that's still, normally about a week in advance before I have to read it.
mhm.
But they
Oh,
always
then you can't change your mind.
no, no, ain't no changing of the minds after that, because they have printed it and put it with a QR code so everybody at the event can look at it and read it along with it. So I got to be pretty sure when I send it.
Fair
Right.
enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I have a quick one to go out on.
Yes.
This is in putting together materials for my show, Making Cake, Flips Hair. Put together a list of recipes of all the cakes I tell stories about in the show, but also came up with a list of cake poems and finding ways that they connect to all these memories that we have. So this one is Potluck Pandering and the Bitterness of Sweet Cake. Protected with Tupperware, double wrapped in foil, bundt cakes and layer cakes, lowered gingerly like fragile porcelain, like pots of gold, like stacks of untaxable cash, like wagers, like house money, like newborn redemption and buttercream frosting. Crinkled aluminum peeled open in equal measure of judgment and jubilee. Grandma Pearl fought gasping tears that one Sunday morning her cake fell. Panicked to place less than her best beside Sister So-and-so's on a crowded table in the church basement. It's a piece.
That brought back some memories.
It did. It did.
Mhm. Mhm.
I love it.
Absolutely. I'm looking at that church table right now. I ain't eating that.
Mhm.
Oh
Wow.
Lord. um so the last piece that I'm going to share is from a book of poems that I am working on currently called For All the Women Who Made Me, and this is the first poem in the book. I come from a long line of ebony goddesses. Women who knew how to burn, whether with tongue or Bunsen, they cooked up recipes of family around the table, laughing and singing songs of praise and triumph. I come from a heritage of thought and expression. Thinkers that created a way for children to feel like royalty on a beggar's budget, a history of femininity, not afraid to work and submit, making our husbands' lives full of love, bellies full of good food that keeps them strong enough to face the world even when it doesn't welcome them. I come from the North and the South. I carry hallelujahs and a bitch slap, Southern charm and hood smarts. I am the daughter of a singer, a veteran, a boxer, and a deacon, so I'm complex, multifaceted, as deep as mirrors facing one another. I come from grace and mercy, so I give it and receive. I come from a love planted in the soil of my heart, so I am capable of growing a garden, but don't be deceived. I also come from climbing trees and playing football in the streets, so I am capable of taking a hit and giving one. I come from the darkness of self-doubt into the light of self-acceptance, no makeup, just oil of Olay, beauty as natural as the Smoky Mountains. I come from a history of titans and daily emerge stronger and greater, proud of my background, proud of my blackness, proud of my heritage and my difference. Everything I have learned to be is the essence of this melanin and power flowing through my veins. I am history, Black daughter, Black mother, Black wife, Black poet, excellence from a long line of ebony goddesses, and I wear my crown with pride.
Mm,
Yes. Let it go.
mhm,
Hmm.
yes,
Thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
beautiful.
yes.
All right,
Beautiful.
Mr. Henry, I guess you are the last one to get to share your second piece.
Yeah, let me actually, let's see. I want to share the one that this was recently published in another anthology, American Graveyard Calls to End Gun Violence, and it was kind of timely. So that's the second excitement. This anthology and then our anthology. It's titled. This poem is titled "The Music of Whiskey, Cigarettes, and Bullets." My godmother was gunned down, and you know, not seeing people for a long time. She lived in Dallas. South Dallas is a rough area. And it hit me so hard. And then someone asked me to join this gun awareness type group online and all that. And I've been confronted with guns in terms of being robbed. I've been shot at, all these incidents, but never had I known someone that was killed from a gun. So this stunned me. This stunned me to the core. And when my friend talked about that gun group, I told her it was like 2 weeks prior of what had happened. And I had posted it on Facebook because a cousin posted, and I was like, what is she talking about? And when I clicked on it, I saw all this pop-ups and stuff. I said, oh my God, they got me. They got me. So I didn't think it was real. And then another family member in Dallas reached out to me and said, Glory is dead. I was like, what? And then I did a search by her name and everything. I said, this stuff was real. I don't know what that pop-up stuff was, but it was real. So then when I was actually just got off the internet and got on the phone, that's when I learned the details. And this poem came out of that grief and still dealing with it. The music of whiskey, cigarettes, and bullets. I only heard a dead silence which made my beating heart sound like God's angry thunder, looking for a mighty rainstorm to find and throw my tears into. I knew the scent of your breath when you kissed me hello, the smell of whiskey and cigarettes, beige teeth grinning with jokes, just to see a smile on my face. You shared old wisdom, telling twisted lies of youth with a believable straight face and tired eyes looking back, followed with a broken smile, then whispered, I'm fine, I'm fine. Got my prayers and gospel music, can play and sing at my piano. Ashes cover ebony and ivory keys with a line, stray butts on the lid. Tease because you were Black enough to cuddle in your own shadow and hide. Pretend not to be real and feel the hurt when they teased and sometimes pleased your ebony with words and later whiskey. Drunken daisies, wanting company, no one comes to listen anymore, wrapped in an old quilt for comfort. Fabric wings was sewn with love lost in the pattern of loneliness, thinking about the many days circling with laughter and sorrow, stitch after stitch after stitch until done right. She still hears their voices. The spot of blood in the middle marks where a little baby was born. Clinging with those fingers, don't you dare watch this quilt. She can still hear the mother's cries and the baby's scream. Covered and cradled in the colors, chilly bones felt in the dry marrow, gets up to sip some whiskey to warm herself, the forever flu-like coldness away. Sits at her piano to wait for music. Damn thing's just too old to play, but enough whiskey and cigarettes. Enough whiskey and cigarettes makes the tuning sound just right. Pretends the strings don't hurt her ears as the music creates a deep trance. But her music, a balm of Gilead, made souls rise in Sunday service heat waves. No one seemed to mind much, played gospel or spirituals to break the chains, make people stop feeling broken inside. Ladies fanning together non-stop. Strong women creating a gentle breeze, moving a Viking ship down the Jordan, wanting the doors of the church to open to be saved from the brimstone's glow. Her fingers got tired of playing, just waiting to go home and eat. Enjoy the breeze of that big box fan, which drips water in a yellow bucket. The dog slurps and later shakes at night. She looked and laughed at him. Her familiar alcohol withdrawal days, when she screamed so loud her song notes were frightened of her, but were protected by staffs and pauses, until one day they heard strange sounds. Sonic booms inside the cloudless house, gunshots flew inside on heated wings, bullets and blood splattered forensic art, drifting smoke above her fallen body. I only heard a dead silence, which made my beating heart sound like God's angry thunder, looking for a mighty rainstorm to find and throw my tears into. I knew the scent of your breath when you kissed me hello, the smell of whiskey and cigarettes, beige teeth grinning with jokes. But now there's no smile on my face.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow.
Feel your loss, my brother. Feel your loss.
Absolutely. That was powerful. You're on mute, Henry. Unmute yourself, baby. Henry, you're on mute.
Ray, that's what I was talking about at the very beginning when I said that we are so different.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, I'm gonna be straight with you. I've never heard a brother poet that sounds like Henry. Never.
Never. Yeah.
Never. You know, and I know a lot of poets, listen to a lot of poetry, but I mean, your stuff, Brother Henry, is it's just different. It's different, and I mean that with the highest degree of praise, but I know it's not what I do, and it's just it makes for such a smorgasbord when we put all of this different poetry together, and everybody, I mean, you called it gumbo on one of your books, your poetic gumbo,
right?
But that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it is.
This anthology is poetic gumbo. It straight up is, because there's so much different textures and layers, and oh my gosh,
I'm gonna have to
I'm
redo the back of the book
thrilled
now and add that that is poetic gumbo.
Yeah.
Can we tell the great people where to find the book?
Absolutely. You can purchase
yes.
the book on Amazon,
That
or
would help.
you can get your copy from any of the poet laureates that are in the book.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then I am sure that they will autograph it for you.
Yes.
Most definitely.
You will have something that it's gonna be worth a whole lot one
That's
day.
it. Yeah. And
'Cause
also they should request the book at certain Vic stores, because you say, oh, I want to buy In Fullness of the Word, so-and-so anthology, and they'll say, we don't have that. But a good bookstore would say, we'll order it for you. It can be here by so-and-so date, you know,
you are
like
correct.
Amazon or
Please
Barnes
do
and Noble or
that.
some places like that. But they will
Because
order it.
it is registered. The book
Mhm.
is registered, and you can purchase it anywhere. So
Right.
if you go to a big bookstore and request it, they should order it for you. Yes.
Yes.
And then you can travel the country and get it autographed by as many poet laureates as, as possible.
Good
You can
idea.
make a whole summer of it.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Subscribe to this YouTube page so that you'll know about other readings that are going to be
Yes,
happening
please
across the
subscribe.
country.
There you
Because
go.
with
That too.
22 very active laureates, there are going to be at least 22 other really dynamic events.
Right.
So hit subscribe.
Exactly.
How's
Yeah.
that? How was that?
More
Yes,
and
that
more
was
and more coming.
fantastic.
More
That's
Subscribe
right.
coming.
because
More in the
And more
there will
coming.
pipeline.
definitely be
Yeah.
more events. More
Yep.
events are
V2,
coming.
V3, V4. Don't wait.
Yeah.
Get in while you can get in.
And you can
That's
be
right.
like Terry holding the book up. Oh my gosh, every time you hold that book, it just makes me happy.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
With joy.
Yeah, I had a glass of wine after I hit that publish button.
Mm.
You just
I was
listen,
like, I
you
did
deserve the whole bottle.
There you go. Exactly. Not just a glass. Go for the bottle. Sure.
it. No, I'm so grateful. Thank you guys so
Yeah.
much for all that you do, and you know, look forward to doing volume 2 and many more events coming up. I'm gonna start back with first Sundays soon, but
Okay.
had to take a break because folks wasn't coming through. So it was getting kind of disappointing. So I was like, okay, we'll take a break. Maybe I'm bothering them too much. So
Oh,
we'll
don't
see.
do that.
But no, I
I would
appreciate you.
think we'll talk offline, but that text message strategy, just doing direct invitations. 'Cause I know I miss a lot in the thread, just
Mhm.
life.
Yeah.
That does
So
make sense. I can do
don't
that.
take it for disinterest, but just missing.
Right.
Well, that thread will go. It'll go fast. When y'all start talking about stuff, I'll be like, oh God. I was
Yeah.
teaching a class and like 30 people had said something. It was just one class. It was just
Right.
one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I love y'all very, very much. Thank you for joining me
Love you
tonight.
too.
Enjoy
Right
the rest
back
of your
at you, baby.
evening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Josh and Kimmy, so good to see you guys.
It is. It is.
Absolutely.
And one day we got to make this in person.
See
I was
that? See
talking
that?
Rhea about Tennessee poets together. Terry, we know other poets and just